Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio. Our guest for this segment is Grayson Maas. He is the Chief Communications Officer for Art of Problem Solving. You have a PhD behind your name. Who calls you doctor? Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We want to talk about the work that you're doing in the community, national community. I don't want to call it a product, Grayson, because what you're doing is you're providing curriculum, in this case math, and I know that you have other materials that you're producing out there that got our attention. One, because you are donating them to our community, and two, because of the rigor that's involved with them. I'm looking at the third grade, fourth grade level math books that you're providing through the Art of Problem Solving, and the books are called Beast Academy.
Beast Academy, that's our elementary math curriculum.
Okay, and I'm like, hey, I wasn't doing this math in second, third grade. Tell us about Art of Problem Solving, Beast Academy, and your philosophy in terms of the materials that you're developing.
Yeah, absolutely. So Art of Problem Solving develops educational resources for motivated students in grades 2 through 12. We got our start actually writing our first textbook in 1993 called The Art of Problem Solving. Mm-hmm. And then in 2003, we developed an online school. We actually got our roots in math competition preparation, and then from there developed a full curriculum for middle school and high school students. So pre-algebra all the way through calculus, plus a bunch of other courses as well. And then we started developing Beast Academy about 8 years ago. Beast Academy is our elementary math curriculum, like I already said, but it's structured unlike any math curriculum you've ever seen. It's actually structured as a graphic comic series. Mm-hmm. So we have a full-time colorist, a full-time artist, and they've developed this wonderful imaginary world with the little monsters, as we call them, as they go on their journeys and use math, very challenging and rigorous math, to solve problems. And the beautiful thing about this from an educational perspective is that kids get to read mathematical conversations, which is very different from the way that math is taught to students, not only just in elementary school, but period.
Very good. And I forgot to mention, yes, I mean, the other thing that caught my eye was the let's call it the comic book approach.
Right.
And I think that's part of the conversation you're talking about that's taking place. So there's some real life application of math concepts. And I don't care how old you are. I mean, I'm older. The kids are younger. We still like the comics and such. So there's something about that. Not just that, but you had the guides and you had the workbook books. Am I correct? And the guides have the comic piece. The workbooks are also a lot of fun just because they're so user-friendly.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Beast Academy, I'll take a deeper dive for everyone here. Beast Academy is for grades 2 through 5. And just like you said, the way that the curriculum is structured is that each grade level is broken down into 4 components, A, B, C, and D. Each letter has a guidebook and a practice book. The guidebook is what you're going to be reading. Mm-hmm. This is the thing. Actually, there's a couple quick fun anecdotes. These books are so addicting for the students. Mm-hmm. Once they sink their teeth into it, and they really start reading it and learning from it. I have a couple teachers in the Bay Area that called me once they were on summer break, and they said, "You're not going to believe it, but a handful of the parents in our school called us. This is 2 weeks into summer, and they said, can we open up a summer session ad hoc so that our students can come back in and start learning, because the kids have been clamoring to go back to school, end their summer break, so they can keep learning Beast Academy, because that's how much fun they're having learning math.
Very good.
But really the crux of this here is that it's not just fun math, it's rigorous math, it's challenging math. So from our perspective, at Art of Problem Solving, we believe that we can teach math in a way that truly empowers people. And what I mean by that is teach them how to think, teach them how to problem solve, teach them how to be creative, critical, logical thinkers. And the way that we do that is we teach people the language of math, so we teach them the foundations, we teach them the basics. But then we ask them to apply that knowledge to new problems that they have not been shown how to solve before, so that they're forced to kind of use those tools in the moment to reason through this challenge that's in front of them. And Beast Academy, why that's so important and powerful is because if we can teach young students how to do that from a very early age, they're going to have cascading positive benefits, not only throughout their educational career, but throughout their lives, because problem solving is the number one skill that we can impart to our youth. The world's changing so quickly. It's not entirely clear what jobs are going to be available in 15 years from now. Right. Not because the jobs are shrinking, just because there's going to be new technology, new opportunities. So what's the world going to look like in 20 years? Your guess is as good as mine. So the one skill we can impart to our youth is the skill of problem solving, because that's a skill that's never going to go out of fashion.
So you came in with the right name, and
right.
I know the whole challenge of problem solving, just having read a bit about us being a very answer-oriented society. And now we want more important than that is how did you come to the answer?
Right.
How did you apply what you learned to other kinds of situations? So I love it. Let me go back just a little bit. One, you didn't forget that it still needs to be fun and interesting. And sometimes we don't put out the effort for that. But two, these are produced at a particular grade level, second, third, fourth, fifth. Who decides I don't want to say the standards, but certainly the curriculum for those age groups? I mean, when I'm looking at the third grade level stuff, I'm reading stuff about calculus, for example. It's like I don't know what calculus is, but you're confident and you have evidence to show that they can know that concept and embrace it and use it. And so, can you say it's a second, third, fourth, fifth grade curriculum, or how do you say that?
Right. So this was actually a pain point for us. We decided to not call them grade level books, but just levels. So skip the word grade.
Got it.
So we have level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. Now, certainly there are a whole bunch of students that are in grade 2 that learn from the level 2 books, 3 for 3, so on and so forth, right? But because the approach is different than what other math books are doing out there, there are 6th graders, there are 7th graders that learn a lot from our level 5 books, for instance. And I should say that not only is the math, rigorous and challenging. For instance, in our level 5 series, we get into a good bit of pre-algebra, which is typically something that you start seeing in middle school.
Right.
But it's not just that, it's that the books really challenge your problem-solving ability. And so for some students, there's a steep learning curve at first, but students are willing and able to meet that challenge. You just have to get over that initial hump, stick with it, give them the right scaffolding and support as a teacher, as a parent, as an educator, and then they can soar.
So who's hardest to convince, the parents, the teachers, or the students?
Well, so the way I think of it, we actually operate in 2 different spaces in terms of where people are engaging our resources. So we're in the homes and then we're in schools. So for parents, either they hear about us from word of mouth, or they're doing, some kind of Google search about, how can I, find some high quality math resources for my 3rd grader, for my 4th grader, things like this. And then we can meet them where they're at. To answer your other question about how to place students, we have developed a full set of assessments, basically at each level, and then broken down to all those different letters that I was mentioning, so that you'll have confidence to know, okay, not only should I start in level 3 for my 4th grader, but I should start with the C series of those books. And then another quick thing that I should mention as well, I'd be remiss if I didn't, is that we have Beast Academy Online as well. So this is an entire online world that we developed.
Right?
Yeah. And you can actually learn a whole lot more about all of this at beastacademy.com.
Love it. Very good. So there are teachers. See, I'm cynical because I come from the literacy world. We're pushing the tail in and bringing people into the circle of literacy and language arts and math and such. But you have teachers who are looking for higher level math materials. Is that accurate?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Absolutely. So there are, we're getting, an increasing amount of attention because of the materials that we produce. There are a number of teachers and educators, curriculum coordinators across the country that are on the search for this type of resource.
Okay.
You know, they're looking for something that is not only going to be engaging, that their students will, give them buy-in for, but something that's going to, and of course, help them do better on all the assessments and everything like that. But really beyond that, help them to be, better critical thinkers.
Yeah.
Help them to, just really challenge them and inspire them and motivate them to want to learn more. And so we think that that's a fundamental difference in the materials that we've created relative to what else is out there. Sure, there's some other things that are going to make you smart and they're going to help you do better on tests and things like that.
Yeah.
But for what we're trying to do, we're not only trying to do that, but we're trying to motivate students as well to get them to want to learn challenging math.
And you've given some examples already of that summer session and such as, hey, this is working for us and it's fun and we want to do more of it. And who doesn't want to advance? Who doesn't want to be ahead of the game? And it's our nature. We're human beings. We want to learn, and sometimes we turn children off or we underestimate them. We don't give them the opportunities. They're underexposed to challenge expectations and the rigor that you bring to the learning environment. We're gonna talk more about that. And this is a literacy show. Right now, I've been talking about math, but a lot of us know that math is part of literacy. But you have some other materials that you're developing for the language arts arena, and so we're going to have a conversation about that too. So we're going to break. I will be back with Grayson Maas. He's the Chief Communications Officer for Art of Problem Solving. You've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader of Internet talk.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
Looking to be a successful entrepreneur? The virtual assistant industry continues to be a top choice for those looking to start their own business. The problem can be how to become a virtual assistant. Many turn to the Bible of the VA industry, the book Virtual Assistant, the series, and it's the perfect guide for office managers, executive assistants, and other administrative professionals looking to make the transition from employee to successful business owner. Go to vatheseries.com to get your copy today.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Homeless veterans and their families are suffering and need our support, but many won't ask or don't know that help is within reach. Veterans Community Services is here to help. Amazingly, about 35% of the homeless in our neighborhoods are veterans with families. Low-income veterans or their friends are encouraged to contact Veterans Community Services and reach out for help with housing and other services. Call now, 800-974-9909.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children. After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world where children don't play, or dream, or imagine.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children, because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
Donate cash, furniture, clothes, and other gently used household items to Father Joe's Villages and get a nice tax break in April. Every donation is tax deductible. Believe you can make a difference. Be Father Joe. Go to neighborhood.org or call 1-800-HOMELESS to donate today.
Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome back. I'm Jose Cruz. This is the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio. We're talking to Grayson Maas. He is the Chief Communications Officer at Art of Problem Solving. We want to talk more about the Art of Problem Solving, Beast Academy, and really, we talked a little bit about the rigor and such. And the use of the books. What does the use look like? And what I mean by the question, Grayson, is it a small group? Is it a discussion? You reference the online version of things. Is it all of those things? What works best?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So the best thing about our materials is that they're very versatile, right? So a lot of our students do use these for enrichment in their own homes, so they're perfectly suited for that. You can, open the books, go to your online platform, and just start chugging along, right? We also have in-person learning centers as well, which is something that I didn't even mention. Mm-hmm. And so we have 10, soon to be 11 learning centers. We have 6 that are in operation, and we're opening 5 more this summer, and that's a bi-coastal operation, some on the East Coast, some on the West Coast. We actually have one in Texas as well. And there's one right here in San Diego County in Carmel Valley, right off the 56, and it's called AOPS Academy. And these are in-person learning centers from grades 2 through 12. We teach not only math, but language arts as well. And to your question about how we teach our materials, it's small groups. Okay. So it's important to surround students with other highly motivated peers so that they can not only get the vertical learning from us as the teachers, but some horizontal learning as well, to have your peers kind of inspire you and push you. And that's the environment that we try to cultivate in our learning centers.
Nice. So you have learning centers. Are these drop-ins? People apply to them? They're not your schools.
So they are. You actually apply for admission to our learning centers. That's right. And so it's depending on what your needs are, what you're going to want to do. These are after school weekends, and we have some summer sessions as well. So it's something that you would do outside of school to kind of reinforce and further your own education in math and language arts.
Very good. Let's talk about parental support. And I asked this question. I was going to, but it's something that occurred to me. I was giving my sister a ride somewhere today, and she was talking about how she couldn't help her grandkids, nor could her daughter help her kids with their math. Now, we have the Common Core math, which is you think we had long division. They have like real long division, and the parents don't know how to help out. And now you have, of course, your curriculum. How connected can parents be? What's the answer to the puzzle?
They can be extremely connected. They can be as connected as they would like to be, and we want to see that. I think that from my own experience as an educator, that the more active interest that parents take in their children's educational development, especially for things like this, things that are happening outside of schools, because parents can't be in the schools when the school bells are going off, right? But outside of schools, it's profoundly impactful. So read Beast Academy books with your kids. Do the online problems with your kids. It's going to be an enriching experience for both.
Very good. Now, I was going to ask you a different question, so I'm going to frame it in a different way. Do you have Beast Academy and your program in urban area schools, places where you can say, hey, we took this to a low-income area, and these kids are succeeding like other kids?
Absolutely. I'm glad you asked that. So a few years ago, there's actually 2 quick answers to that question. I could spend all day talking about it, but I know we have to wrap at some point. So in one of our learning centers in Gaithersburg, Maryland, a couple years ago, we created the Pathway program. And so what we've done there is we've partnered with Title I schools in the surrounding community, and we've provided basically full ride scholarships to our AOPS Academy for, at the time, they were rising 3rd graders. So the idea here is that these kids have, every bit the ability as any other kid. They just didn't have the opportunity, right? And so we wanted to give them that opportunity. We didn't want cost to factor into this. And so now we've been working with these kids for a couple years. There are 40 of the Pathway Scholars in our program, and they're flying high. They're doing exceptionally well. Their parents are so pleased with everything that's going on, and that has been such a wonderful experience for everyone involved that we have recreated it in our other learning centers with the help of Jack Kent Cooke Foundation that's provided some very generous support so that we can recreate the Pathway program in other AOPS academies around the country.
Sometimes money, very good. I mean, I love it. That's very exciting. Sometimes money isn't your biggest obstacle. The biggest obstacle is convincing a community of students and parents that these kids who typically don't score well just on basic reading and writing are excelling. So you bring rigor, you believe in it, it works, and it's just certain things that have to happen to make it work.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's a wonderful point about testing. So tests are imperfect. I think a lot of people have, wrote about that. They've talked about that, but it's true, right? This idea that, we're going to use some kind of standardized metric, give it to everybody, and then let the chips fall where they may. The students that do better are the better students. The students that don't do so well aren't as good. And that's that's not a great way to look at things. So instead, when we go into the schools where we form partnerships with, we don't care so much about the test scores. Instead, what we're going to focus on is the teachers and what their experience is with these students. So we ask teachers questions like, who are the students that don't give up on difficult problems? Who are the students that are very precocious? Who are the students that ask a lot of questions, that are curious about the world, that might be somewhat difficult in the classroom because they say, well, that doesn't make sense to me. What if we did it this way? Like these kinds of things, right? Yeah. That's the type of indicator that we look for to say, okay, you're going to do well with our materials because that's exactly the type of attitude that you should be taking. Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Because that's like, okay, those are our problem children. I want that child out of my class, and those are the ones you're looking for. And there's those are assets. I mean, what you're describing are assets. Before we still have about 4 minutes here, but I did want to ask about your materials outside of math, the language arts curriculum that you're developing. I'm very interested in that, and I think our listeners are too. Tell us what you're doing with art of problem solving and the language arts.
Absolutely. So real quickly, the three properties that I like to say that we have are the Beast Academy, the elementary curriculum. We've talked about that. We've got the online school that's been around for over a decade and a half. And then a couple of years back, we developed Art of Problem Solving Academy. So we know that online education doesn't work well for everyone. As a part of that company, I should tell you online education is going to save the world, but it's not true. There's, kids learn in different ways. Online's great for a lot of reasons, but there's still no substitute, especially for a lot of learners that really benefit from this, that in-person, that face-to-face kind of environment. And so that's where Art of Problem Solving Academy comes from. And not only do we have all of the math that we teach, but we have language arts there as well, because critical reasoning, critical thinking, especially in the math world, when coupled with really excellent communication skills, you're going to be unstoppable. And so that's the type of enriching environment that we're trying to create in our learning centers, and it's grades 2 through 12. So we do creative writing, essays, everything that you could do.
Very good.
Yeah.
And we know the power of, and I'm going to guess, given the emphasis you have on higher level math concepts, that you would also put a value on vocabulary and again critical thinking. That's your foundation, and maybe literature.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're
absolutely.
Right?
There's a ton of reading that we do in our learning centers. Reading and writing, communication. These are things that are extremely important and part of forming a very well-rounded student. Mm-hmm. So I tell a lot of my students that are very math inclined, hey, try some language arts, and then if they might say, well, why? I'm really into math. It's like, well, you're very into math. Wouldn't it be great if you could really communicate very well to others why math is important to study. If you could write a very, well-crafted essay about why math is important to you. Things like this. These are skills that really every student should have.
Well, you've already modeled it because you're doing that with the whole comic book format. That here are conversations that are taking place around math ideas and such. So, and it's not dry. I mean, it's just about, okay, what does this mean? And of course, you have to teach that, but it's still conversational. It still involves language and such. So that's the other part of this. We can all talk, right?
That's
and
right.
We can learn words too. So before we sign off, let's see, how can people learn more about the Art of Problem Solving, the Beast Academy books, and all the new things that you're doing out there?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the easiest way is just to go to artofproblemsolving.com, and that's a mouthful, so you could also shorten it because you can go to AOPS.com as well. Beast Academy is beastacademy.com, and for our learning centers, it's aopsacademy.org, and you can learn everything there. So I want to say as well that it's not just, online courses or books or in-person courses that we develop. There's an entire world of resources, free resources that we've developed. So I encourage everyone that's out there listening to this to go to those websites, especially AOPS.com, AOPS, and check out some of our videos. Check out some of our articles that we've written. Check out some of our other free resources. We've got this wonderful tool called Alchemist. I won't even spoil the surprise, but just check out Alchemist when you're there. It's a wonderful learning system, completely free, and teachers should check it out as well.
Very good. Thank you so much, Grayson. It's been great to have you on the show and Art of Problem Solving. We appreciate your contributions to greater literacy in San Diego County. Hopefully you'll come back. Did you have a good time?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show. We've been on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk. There, and I said people can get more information.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McCullough brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcCullough.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McCulloughe. ChristopherMcCullough.com.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.